Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Minecraft. It is episode 106, which means that I have caught up to the pace of having one episode come out per month. Even though this is the second episode I have released this month, recorded this month. But yeah, never mind that. I want everyone to pay attention to this dog right here. We're doing a photo shoot for an album cover. So just pretend that pretend she's in because this dog is a she, right? Pretend this dog is in like a position here, and like I have the camera, right? And then pretend like these ears are this dog's hair, and I don't know how to illustrate this, but sorry. Apparently, it's her artistic choice for it to be like that. So, the album cover would be like me out of frame. It'd be like out of frame, and then I'd be like exerting some sort of force to pull the ears or hair in this regard of the dog up. So I don't know. Maybe. I don't know why I did that for the intro bit. I don't even know why. Because, I'm not gonna talk about it, man. It's that's a conversation not really for me to have. I mean, can I have opinions on it? Sure. But I'd rather have an opinion on the NBA Finals, Game 7. How the hell did the Thunder and Pacers play 7 games in the NBA Finals, man? Again, I cannot overstate how much I disrespected the Pacers, how much I doubted, overlooked them, how much, I didn't overlook Halliburton in particular, but yeah, I absolutely disrespected them going into these playoffs. I am sorry. I don't think I'll ever apologize enough for that, man. It is, I don't know. They took the OKC Thunder to 7 games, and the Thunder won in 7 games, But yeah, that's the thing to take away. The Thunder won a championship, great. All because of Paul George. Mostly because of Paul George, somewhat because of other things, They traded Russell Westbrook too, but they ended their current iteration of the team in 2019 after Dame hit that freaking amazing shot that I posted in a previous episode. And then they rebuilded. They were tanking for a couple of years. They trusted the process of Sam Presti, and look where they are now. They are now the NBA champions of the world. Noah Lyles. Oh man, he's still upset about that shoe, man. He's still upset of why would you freaking, I don't know, something about Anthony Edwards. I don't know. He keeps on talking about this situation, but whatever. Yeah, the Thunder are NBA champions. Great. Shea won the scoring title, MVP, Finals MVP, and the championship all in the same season. Great for him. He probably should win the foul baiting award for guards, if that was an award. Just him and Jalen Brunson, and then Trae Young just comes in at a distant third. Oh man, anyways. But yeah, that's basically all I need to say about the Thunder, right? Yeah, they had a spectacular run. Great win, great parody, I guess, is great for the NBA. Who cares about ratings? J-Dub proved himself as a number 2. Is he Scottie Pippen? Who knows? Chet Holmgren has room to grow. If he becomes a true second team or even first team all defense player in the future, that's going to be great. They have a bunch of draft picks. Sam Presti is one of the best executives in the NBA of all time. Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey straight up. How? Signing Isaiah Hartenstein in free agency, it's just what an array of moves. But yeah, I think I have to spend time on, at least a little bit of time on Tyrese Halliburton, because he did suffer just a horrible injury in that Game 7 early on. It is a torn Achilles. It's just, it's sad that 3 different players this postseason alone just tore their Achilles. It's just, it's horrible, man. When it happened to Tatum, it felt shitty, I don't think there is as much of I don't know. It's weird trying to gauge the total amount of heartbreak, for players, but yeah, definitely the people were heartbroken for Tyrese Halliburton, probably because of, you know, for a bunch of neutral fans, right, that like he provided so much joy and entertainment, you know, throughout these playoffs, you know, with his clutch shots he was making in game 1 of this finals, in against the Knicks, in game 1 of that series against the Bucks to close out the series, in the against the Cavs in game 2 of that series. It's like he did it over and over and over again, you know. Like, should he have played true with that calf strain? Like, obviously, from the athlete's perspective, there was no way he wasn't gonna play, right? Yeah, it just made me think, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world if the Pacers lost in 6, but yeah, like, obviously, that's not the way you immediately think about things if you're any player on the Pacers, right? You're just like, you want to play one more game. You don't want your season to end. It would be really sad to end your season on your home court, you know, with the other team getting to celebrate on your home court, you know? It's like, you don't think of it from that perspective at all if you're a player on the team or like associated with the team at all, you know? But, you know, like, Halliburton had a calf strain that was apparent in game 5, right? Yeah, in game 5, where he was held to 0 field goals, right? And then in game 6, he came back. He looked basically normal, right? And then early on in game 7, he hit 3 trees. Like, I don't know, man. And then the Pacers were leading at halftime, man. Like, it was just, yeah. You really don't want to be like, what if? But yeah, it's just, I can't not freaking see it, man. I can't not think that, you know? Brian Windhorst, yeah, like, said that, like, he felt, you know, more strongly about that he felt kind of devastated, like, his stomach was in knots, like, watching that game in the second half. Yeah, it just, I mean, I am happy that the Thunder won, you know. I would have been happy either way. I would have been fine, man. Again, this was a nice final series for me, man. Nice little break, man. Man, no, just an agenda-free finals is just, I don't know. I wish I could just have agenda-free, like, NBA finals all the time, but I don't know. It's just hard, man. Like, whenever the Lakers are in the finals, or God forbid the Sixers make it there, or like, I don't know, like, it's that, it doesn't even have to be those teams, right? It's always like having a finals series with an agenda, you know, for me means like, I don't know. A good example of it is the Celtics and the Mavs in 2024, which was, yeah, last year, where like, I just don't want Nick Wrong to be frickin' gloating about frickin' Luka like that. It's like, ugh, you know, like, come on, man. Like, that would have been horrid. Like that, that's the agenda that, you know, that's an example of an agenda I root for, of just like, I don't want you to be frickin' correct on this stuff, man. I stop, man. like, you know, obviously the Celtics were the better team, right? Yeah, they were the better team in that series, you know. Luka was still the best player in that series, but like, I don't know, it's just, yeah, that's an example of an agenda, man. Same thing with the Heat and the Nuggets, right? He picked the freaking Heat to beat the Nuggets, and then in the first round the next series, he picked the Lakers to beat the Nuggets in the first round, coming off a championship run. It's like, okay, I know I shouldn't give that man too much freaking heat, but like, I don't know. These are the things I think about, man. I don't, you know, these are the things. These are the examples of having agendas, man. It wasn't that much so that, like, Luka would have had a championship. It was also the fact that last year, if Luka had won the championship, he would be argued for being put over Jokic in terms of best player in the world, and I don't want that, man. Like, that's an agenda, man. That's an agenda. Like, I do not want that, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird subset of this series. Yeah, I guess one subplot I should talk about with the series from the Pacers' perspective that doesn't concern Halliburton is TJ McConnell, man. Like, watching TJ McConnell just being the only player to score for a time in the third quarter, for like most of the third quarter, right? And like in game 5, he had that freaking amazing stretch of like scoring. It's like TJ McConnell, man. He is amazing. Like, he is a hero. He is heroic, man. Like, they need to retire his jersey, man. No matter if he wins a championship or not, man. Like, oh my god, dude. TJ McConnell, man. He is the great white hope of the Indiana Pacers. He's so good, man. TJ McConnell, man. And like, it was so heroic. The bravery he put on, like, just scoring, getting to the basket, because he doesn't really shoot trees, you know? Like, he shoots a tree if he's left wide open, but like, he does not shoot trees. He gets in the paint, he freaking scores inside, or like hits like a mid-range into paint, right? It's like, that's his game, right? He's just freaking relentless. Oh my god, dude. Like, the way he just kept on going in the paint, man. Oh my god, dude. TJ McConnell, man. Shout out to TJ McConnell this final series, and just, yeah, for this current iteration of the Pacers, man. I don't know, man. What can they do to replace TJ McConnell, man? Like, obviously he's a role player, right? I don't know. There's this new show, one of the shows that I've been adding to my rotation, my very short rotation. It's just Gil's Arena. It's just Gil's Arena, basically. It's Gil's Arena and then numbers on the board a little bit. Yeah, I talked about that before. Yeah, but you know, there's this show called The Panel, which has this guy Swipa on it, yeah, who's a Nuggets fan that I knew beforehand. So, and it's just a bunch of people arguing, man. There's like one like guy who's like 52 years old on there. But other than that, it's a bunch of people in their freaking 20s arguing about basketball from a fan perspective, you know. So, yeah. And like, yeah, and was I about to say on that? Just something about watching them. Yeah, they on that show they do The Panel. It's like 3 hours every weekday. I don't know how they do it, but I don't know. Yeah, like it's I think it was during a watch party. Yeah, it was during a watch party that for in Game 7, because I was watching it in between the breaks, right? And they were having an argument. Like, one of the people there on that stream watch party was bringing up an argument of like, I think TJ McConnell is just as good as Halliburton or something, or like he's just as important to the team as Tyrese Halliburton. And it's like, which is somewhat like the way I would assume the way the person was saying it was somewhat kind of dissing Tyrese Halliburton, you know. It was just like, but I mean, like, you shouldn't go that far in your praise of TJ McConnell, but yeah, like, he's freaking a really good player, man. That's the thing. But, you know, Tyrese Halliburton, in my mind, is a fringe superstar level player, man. Who cares if it's like, is he a superstar? Is he not? Like, he's like, I mean, he's like on like Devin Booker's level, right? Like, he's that level of player in terms of his like star caliber, right? Yeah, he's like there. He's like with Donovan Mitchell. He probably eclipsed Donovan Mitchell, if we're really being really honest, because I mean, like, Donovan Mitchell hasn't made the conference finals. But like, it's like yeah, like, that's the thing. That's the level of player Tyrese Halliburton is, and like TJ McConnell's a role player, you know? I mean, like, as much as I do love him, man, in terms of role players that are like amazing, you know, like he's, I mean, at his very, very best, he's probably on the level of Derek White, right? Like, in terms of guards, you know, that are just like, you really love them if they're on your team. But, you know, like, we've seen Derek White go for like 30 freaking, you know, in games, like over 30 points in games, and have like 8-9 trees, you know. Like, TJ McConnell isn't doing that, but like, yeah, he's a kind of like a utility. He can get rebounds and freaking assists too, you know. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like, TJ McConnell's not on Tyrese Halliburton's level, you know, like, not really. And it's, yeah, I don't know. I think like the way that person, whoever it was that said it, I don't pay attention to that much to it. It's just something to watch, or, you know, basketball related. Man, yeah, I think like they were kind of saying that to somewhat diss Tyrese Halliburton, you know, because like Tyrese Halliburton does have like performances, you know, where he doesn't show up offensively, right? He's too passive, or he just like, yeah, like that game where he scored 0 field goals, you know. I mean, it happens, you know, but yeah. Anything else from the finals to pay attention to? Oh, there was a trade. Yeah, there was a trade. Yeah. Does anyone know this player called Kevin Durant? I don't know. Apparently he was a really good player. Apparently he's a really good player. He's like one of the best scorers of all time. Apparently he was on the OKC Thunder back in like 2014, 15. In 2016, after that season, he left for some reason. I don't know. This is a weird situation, man. In like the fall of 2016, like someone like makes a video with the title like the KD situation is, you know the word to fill in the blank. It's like wow. Wow, amazing title work, man. Amazing work on that video title. This is gonna blow up. This is gonna be big, man. Hopefully it's not gonna fall as hard as it rose, you know? Hopefully it's not gonna fall as easily as it rose, you know? That's the thing. But yeah, he got traded to the Houston Rockets. The trade is exactly as it is now. The Phoenix Suns gave up KD, and then the Rockets gave up for KD, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green, the 10th pick in this year's draft, which is in 2 days, by the way, as of the time I'm recording. Yeah, they gave up those things, and then they gave up 5 first-round picks. So, yeah, not the haul the Suns gave up to get KD in the slightest, but you know, it was the best they could do, man. Yeah, that's what Tim Bontemps said. It was just the best offer they could do at this time. There were like rumors of like maybe Minnesota, but like what, like they would have given up Rudy Gobert reportedly, right? Why would they do that? He could have gone to the Golden State near to the trade deadline. And like it would have been for like Jimmy Butler and like, or no, it would have been for like Jonathan Kuminga. Yeah, it would have been for Jonathan Kuminga and someone else, but I don't know. Yeah, and then like Kevin Durant himself vetoed it, right? He called Steph and is like, now's not the time, man. Something like that, reportedly. But yeah, the Heat were in conversations because they always are, and they always miss. They miss on every freaking star in existence now, man. Yeah, like every star is tied to the Heat until freaking they go to another team. Even though Dame wanted to go to Miami, man. That's another what if moment, man. What if Dame got what he wanted and stayed in Miami, you know? Like, I mean, I think there's a good chance that he still doesn't make the finals, but like, I don't know. Interesting to think about there. Oh, man. Yeah, so that's basically, yeah, that was the return for KD. The Rockets, you know, got off really good. They did not have to give up Tari Eason or Şengün or Jabari Smith, any of their, like, good young players. They had to give up Jalen Green. My opinion on Jalen Green is known, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not. You know, it's mostly in jest, but like it's pretty much true though. Like it's true that like he's a scoring guard that can get hot, but he doesn't play defense. He's not the best passer in the world. You know, he can pass. You know, he can get assists sometimes, but he's not. You know, he's not a point guard. You know, he's a shooting guard who does not play defense. So yeah, he's a shooting guard who can get hot, who can score a lot, doesn't play defense. You know, you know, Devin Booker is a better version of that, and even Bradley Beal, it could be argued, is a better version of that. So like, yeah, like what are the Suns gonna do with Booker? You know, he's not gonna get traded as far as sources know. Yeah, but yeah, he wants to stay in Phoenix. Yeah. What are we gonna do with him? Bradley Beal, who still has a no trade clause, and I think the trade clause is the villain of the NBA, man. Like that trade clause is evil, man. Please, someone just. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. It sucks. It sucks for the Suns that he has that trade clause. I don't know if like Suns fans are painting it that clearly, but like yeah, like Bradley Beal's trade clause is a lot of the reason why they're stuck in this freaking mess, you know? Like if they could just trade Bradley Beal for something, if they could just get him off the freaking team and replace him with like a couple role players, you know? Yeah, it'd be fine. Yeah, but whatever, man. Yeah, they have him, and then they have Jalen Green, who's another shooting guard that can score. Yay, offense, man. Who's gonna guard us? It's like, respectfully, I don't know how they're gonna guard us. It's like, how about the playoffs? Oh man. Do you know who's playing the best defense on the Suns? The second apron. The second apron is the best defender on the Suns right now, man. The absolute like first team all defense. The second apron is, man. The second apron is like Ben Wallace levels of defense. The second apron is Ron Artest, now known as Meta World Peace, Meta Sandiford Artest levels of defense. Like goddamn, that's the level of defense the second apron is playing. It's playing it for every team, but yeah. Yeah, more NBA stories. The Lakers got sold. They have a rich owner. Yeah, I don't think I need to go over like the whole specifics on their situation, but yeah, to really condense it, it's like the Lakers are owned by the Buss family. A guy called Jerry Buss bought them in 1979 and turned them into like the Showtime Lakers, which was a thing. Yeah, which like was their branding throughout the 80s. Where they had like Laker girls, they had dancers to dance for them, which was like the unique at that time, right? So yeah, like they've basically been a family-owned business, whereas every other NBA team is owned by like a wealthy billionaire who has their money in like a different company, right? Like the Clippers are owned by Steve Ballmer, and Steve Ballmer, I think is Microsoft executive, has billions of dollars, right? A lot of the NBA owners are probably in like real estate, or like some business that makes a lot of money, like billions of dollars. Like Matt Ishbia is in like home mortgaging, whatever that is, right? Yeah, I think the Cavs owners like that too, right? Yeah, so basically, the Lakers do not have that. The Lakers are owned by the Buss family, and and the Lakers as a franchise is the Buss family's source of income. So yeah, recently the Buss family sold they've agreed, most of them at least. Genie agreed to sell majority stake in the Lakers to Mark Walter, who owns the Dodgers and owns racing companies and owns the LA Sparks too. So yeah, Mark Walter is like an extremely rich billionaire who does not have his money tied up in just one franchise. Yeah, he has outside money too. So that could help the Lakers down the line in terms of because they're still going to be the first and second aprons to deal with, but in terms of like facilities or I don't know, like all the other stuff, all the little things that are like related to the basketball but aren't in terms like hotels, stuff like that, trainers, stuff like that. I guess that's gonna change. So it's a cool thing, I guess. Oh man, any other NBA thing before I talk about other things, because it's going to be the off season, man. Ace Bailey is falling in the draft. Will the Sixers take him? He's not falling, but he just canceled his visit with the Philadelphia 76ers, who are picking number 3 in this draft. And Ace Bailey, like, on a lot of draft boards, is, like, projected to be number 3. So, yeah. Man, anything else, to talk about in terms of the league? Why do I keep on forcing myself to talk about it? I'm not forcing myself to talk about it. I enjoy it, but yeah. Anything else on either the Pacers or the Thunder? Jalen Williams hasn't had alcohol before last night, apparently. I watched the Hoop Collective like post finals game stream, and then he walked by, and they were asking him like, how much champagne did you have? He's like, yo, I had it. I never had a sip of alcohol until until tonight or something. And then he said like Jalen Williams is trying to get me to drink tequila. Like, yeah, they're so young that they didn't even know how to pop open champagne bottles, like I don't know how to do that. I just saw it in the Ballad of Gay Tony promo back then, but yeah. It was a mini game in that DLC. Oh man, yeah, that's how young and frickin' inexperienced they are, and it's just so rare for a team that young to win a championship that early, right? And it's so rare for a team to be that well set up for the rest of the decade as the OKC Thunder, man. It's insane, man. Again, Sam Presti, man. I'm trusting his process, man. I am absolutely trusting his process, man. Yeah. Oh man. Anything else? Yeah, I think I'm good, man. I don't know. I'm trying to find out. 27 minutes in, 20 freaking like yeah, 20 almost half an hour in, and I'm done talking about basketball already. Wow, man. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else? Anything else? Yeah, not as of now. Okay, so if is something else, I'll have checked it when I got to the NBA subreddit. So yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll just take a little bit of a break and then talk about something else. Scratch that. I checked the NBA subreddit right now. This is breaking as of 49 minutes ago. The Boston Celtics have traded Drew Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers for Anthony Simons and 2 second-round picks. My God, dude. Like, this offseason, man. That's the thing about basketball, man. Like, the offseason just never frickin', it always delivers. Even when there's, like, some dull periods, right? There's always some frickin' intrigue, man. It's even if there aren't trades, will this team trade this player? I don't know. That's the thing I wonder about, like, a lot of NBA podcasts, especially when, like, Bill Simmons and, like, Zach Lowe, like, talk about, like, the off-season stuff and the business stuff, like, just as much, if not more so, than the actual basketball, It's not like, oh, it's being bogged down by drama. It's more so, like, that's how you talk about the NBA, for a podcast that runs, 360, almost basically 365 days out of the year, right? But yeah, the Celtics traded Drew Holiday, so this is basically the first of the moves that the Celtics are, probably required to do, right? They're not required to, but yeah, they just need to do it because they need to get below the second apron with Tatum's injury, right? So yeah. Man, dude, I don't know about the Celtics, man. Yeah, but Anthony Simons, though? I mean, that's like yeah. I would assume Anthony Simons is a downgrade, but yeah, like, that's not the worst. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good trade, Drew Holiday for Anthony Simons, I think Anthony Simons is already, like, 26, yeah. I think he was in, like, the 2019 draft or something like that, so, yeah. I'm checking the subreddit right now. So this is not the Twitter segment, but the RNBA segment. So yeah, let me see what the comments are like on this. The return. 2-time Blazer Drew Holiday, 2-time Jazz Russell Westbrook. Oh man, maybe this acquisition will finally warm Joe to the idea of taking trees. There's no breaks in this sport. Considering Durant got traded on the morning of Game 7. Yeah. Oh, man. You can never take a break, man. In the NFL, there's just like a whole dead off season. In baseball, there is. Hockey, I would assume there is. Soccer, there's like tournaments and cups being played year round. I don't know about that. Even boxing, right? It's like when there isn't like a looming like big title fight on the horizon, it can get like that or feel like that. But like, I don't know, the NBA is just so unique in that regard that like there's always stuff happening. Like, I would assume that's what drew me through it in 2020. When the pandemic was at its highest. So yeah, basically, I just cut my break short. I was gonna talk about something else, but yeah. Man, who won the trade between the Drew Holiday between the Boston Celtics and the Trailblazers? I don't know, man. I would assume they're sending him there for good, right? It's like, this isn't to be rerouted. It's like, no, we want Anthony Simons. Man. Yeah, I mean, really, for the Portland Trailblazers, like, yeah, Tumani Kamara made second team all defense. I don't know if I talked about that, but yeah. He's a really good player that the Suns just gave up, that they just gave up in a trade. I think it was for like Bradley Beal, I think, sometime around there. So, yeah, the Blazers have to make a decision on like which young players they want to focus on, because they have Donovan Clingan, they have Tumani Kamara, they have like Shaden Sharp, not as young of a player, but they have Shaden Sharp, they have Jeremy Grant is still on the team. They have DeAndre Ayton, right? He's probably not gonna be the future of the Blazers, right? Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like the Blazers are in a really interesting spot because I could definitely see them in the play-in next season. Yeah. Like, I feel like next season should be the season the Blazers like push for the play-in. You know, it's not that big of a goal, but to make the 10th seed, like they can make the 10th seed in the Western Conference at least, right? I feel like the Blazers have the talent to do that, especially if Drew Holiday is going to stay on the team for the entirety of next season at least. So yeah. Oh man, can I please stop talking about the NBA, man? That's okay. I'm not forcing myself to go on to subreddit, man. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh man, should I talk about video games, man? Should I talk about another sport, but not basketball? Yeah. Let me just, yeah. The fun thing about doing this on this console is that I can switch freaking things immediately. So I can just turn this into a let's play of another game. Oh man. Yeah, I could get in trouble for some copyright, so I have to turn down the sound, right? You have to turn down the sound here. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully, yeah, like the problem, yeah, I uploaded a video of Tony Hawk, yeah, this Pro Remastered Edition, like back in 2022, and the sound was just way too loud. Like, the music was just way too loud, so yeah. Should I just do Free Skate? Why can't I do Free Skate? What? Why? Why can't I do that? I can't do it with just my created skater. Yeah. Don't mind that, by the way. Don't mind that. Don't mind that, Free Skater. Don't mind what that skater's name is. Yeah. Oh, I should probably switch frickin' to skaters, but whatever. This is me, I guess, like, without, you know, without saying too much. This is like a character. I think I modeled this after a character. Okay, so yeah. Yes, she's supposed to be a Filipino skater, okay? Yes, that is what I tried to create. So, yeah, remember this level, man? Remember Warehouse? Does anyone remember Warehouse, you know? I don't know. I guess I'm just, I switched the game because I want to talk about Tony Hawk, yeah. I want to talk about Pro Skater 1 and 2 Remastered because it's actually a video game I've been playing recently. I know I got it 3 years ago, but I have just been going through the levels and like trying to go through most of the goals in them. Yeah, so I completed both games. Like not every goal I completed, but yeah, just like I unlocked all of the levels in both games. So yeah, it was just something I did over the past few days. That it was something I could talk about related to skateboarding. Oh man. Am I getting into it? Yeah. Am I getting into skateboarding like watching it? Yeah, not really, but yeah, like in my YouTube feed, when my YouTube feed is good, it's showing me like live streams of like the X Games and stuff. I think the X Games in Osaka happened recently, so like I saw like a live stream with that, and like the first event up was like the women's vert competition, right? And like by women's, I mean like the people competing are really young, man. Like they're really young, like who are competing, man. Like there is no one like under 20 in like any of these skate competitions, in any of like the women's skate competitions I've seen. They're all like teenagers, basically. Yeah. So yeah, like, and one thing I'm noticing is that there's a good amount of like skateboarding like talent on the women's side, especially, that comes from Japan, you know. Like one of them is in this game, Auri Niche. Yeah, I think, like, let me see if I end this run. If I end this run and switch skaters, man, please. Man, okay. Get it. Okay, come. Oh yeah, here's where you change it. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, this is yeah. Going here. Yeah. Wait, where? Please. I want to find frickin'. Yeah, here's Leo Baker. Yeah, this is the guy that had a documentary on him, that I saw, right, where he's a trans man, and like that's like the whole thing of the documentary is just documenting like his journey and like his journey with his gender identity, right? And like the whole weird thing about like skateboarding, where it shouldn't necessarily be a gendered like thing, but it is, I don't know. I really enjoyed that documentary. I talked about it on a previous episode, but I was like years ago. So yeah, so here are like the new skaters they added just for this game. Leticia Buffoni, who's Brazilian. There's another one called, Raisa Leal, who's in the 3 and 4 remastered. Yeah, which I guess could also be what I talk about. Lizzie Armano's a skater. I think Tony Hawk had a podcast that ran for like 3 years called Hawk versus Wolf. He did it with this guy called Jason Ellis, who's Australian, and like Lizzie Armanto was on like 2 of the episodes. I listened to both of them. Nigel Houston, he was in friggin' Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. Yeah, like that's how much I'm familiar with the series. I played the first 4 games: Underground, Underground 2, American Wasteland, and Proving Ground, man. I didn't get to Project 8, but yeah, those are all the games I played. Here we go, Aori Nishimura. Yeah, like this is like there's a lot of freaking skateboarding talent that is coming out of Japan, man. Like if you look at like the like in like most like skateboarding competitions, right, like in both street and in vert skating, right, and like vert is like where you're on like a quarter pipe, half pipe, and it's just confined to that, and like street is where there's like rails and stuff, like it's like a course, right? But it's like, yeah, it's that's like park skating, but whatever. It's like, street park, vert and street and park are like different things, but yeah, there's a lot of like skateboarding like talent on the women's side coming from Japan, man. Like, and it's just making me think, like, where are the skate parks in Japan that are like facilitating this? Like where, like, I don't know, like I need to look into it more, I'm just unfamiliar that like, I don't know. It's really cool that there's a lot of young women like skating who are picking up like skateboarding, and a lot of them are coming from Japan or Brazil. It's cool. Oh man. So yeah, I don't know. The Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remastered is coming out. Yeah, and I think I can make a video on it. Yeah, I don't have to pay anything for it. Yeah, I think it's going to be on Game Pass if it still exists in that time. So yeah, I think you might see a video of it on here, because like Pro Skater 3 and 4 was extremely nostalgic for me. Yeah, like 3 and 4, man, were like, I think, 3, 4, Underground 2 were like the Tony Hawk games I played as a child. Back when I played video games. I don't now, even though I'm playing a video game right now, but yeah. Like, back when I played video games, it was what I was doing, man. Man. Yeah, where I never got to this level, but they redid this. They redid Warehouse in Pro Skater 3, and they redid Warehouse in Underground 2, basically, in like that first level. And there was also like a, I don't know what it was. Yeah, I think it was called Remastered, but yeah, I think it was like, it was just called Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, right? And it was like exclusively for the Xbox Live Arcade, back when that was a thing. I couldn't find it. Yeah, I don't think I could find it, but yeah, I owned it once upon a time, and I played it. Yeah, it had this level on here too, so yeah, and it had a whole like different soundtrack. I think it was just the first game remastered. But the thing about this is that this is the first and second game remastered, and there's like a bunch of new skaters, there's a few more female skaters, which is really cool, because back then the only female skater in the games was Alyssa Steamer. Oh man, I think I picked Kareem Campbell a lot. Yeah, like Kareem Campbell was like the skater I used a lot when I played the games back then. I really wish I could figure out a way to show like PS2 games, because like maybe I could make videos on those, but I don't know. Yeah, I think like it's just like, what's gonna be the point, man? But yeah, the 3 and 4 remaster is gonna come out soon, right? I think like July 10th. Yeah. So I'm just looking forward to it, and I guess in looking forward to it, I decided to play this more and actually play a video game as I'm doing now. So yeah. Anything else to talk about with Tony Hawk? Yeah, I listened to the podcast he did. I'm going through it a little bit, listening through episodes. It's nice. just to hear like stories. Yeah, because he has like a lot of the people like from his like skateboarding history on there, right? Like he has like like a bunch of like OG freaking skateboarders from the 80s, even like 70s, you know? He had like Christian Hasoyan, who was like an OG freaking member of the Bones Brigade, which was like this like group of skaters that Tony was a part of back in the 80s, you know? Yeah. Oh man, it's a whole freaking thing. Yeah, there's this whole documentary. I don't think I talked about that. Yeah, but I watched. I don't know if it's still on HBO Max, because freaking HBO Max freaking deletes a lot of stuff that just appears for like 4 months for no reason. Yeah, but I don't know. I watched that documentary back when it released in like 2022. So, yeah, and I think it led me to listening to the podcast every now and then. So. Yeah, is that basically everything about Tony Hawk? I don't know, I'm just enjoying skating. Oh, man. Let me go look into soundtrack for something interesting. Yeah, there's like a lot of newer hip-hop songs. There's like an MGK song. This is Skepta. He's a drill artist, I think. UK rap artist. Yeah. Yeah, and it also has like a lot of the classic songs. Yeah, like this one from Pro Skater 2. It has Superman by Goldfinger on it, of course it does, you know. It has Rage Against the Machine. It has, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it has Dead Kennedys. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear it. Yeah, with the way I've turned the sound down. Dude, a significant, yeah, like however many minutes of this freaking episode is just gonna be freaking Tony Hawk, and then I'm gonna call it Minecraft. It's just the same. That's the fun of it. You never know. It's never just Minecraft. That's the thing. Maybe it's somewhat postmodern in that regard, you know? Like, it really should be like the NBA basketball podcast discussion, but, you know, I mean, I talk about books too, you know? I'll get to it. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, this is kind of a cheat code, to be honest. Oh, there you go. Oh, my God. 520,000. Oh, man. There you go. That's good enough. I really like that freaking you could just do that. And just switch between games, man. It's so nice. Anyways, back to the episode. That was just something I wanted to do, man. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. Also, yeah. If I show it, yeah. There's a demo of Tree and Floor that came out that has the 2 levels. It has Foundry from Pro Skater 3, and it has College, which is the first level from Pro Skater 4. I don't know. That level in particular, College, is just so nostalgic, man. Like, I don't know. I turned on the PS2 because I still have my PS2 that I had from, like, childhood, like, early freaking, I don't know. Oh, man. I still, yeah, like, going back to it, man, and listening, and, like Express Yourself by NWA plays, and, like, Spokesman by Goldfinger plays. It's like, yeah, those are just the defining freaking songs of that game. And like, there's this hip-hop freaking trio called Haiku d'Etat. And then they have this song called Non Compos Mentis. I don't know, man. Yeah. Like, you know, back in 2020 and 2021, when I was looking for albums to download, I just wanted, like, a few of the albums from the artists featured on the Tony Hawk soundtracks, and that was one of the albums I got. And the album is called, where that song is from, is called Haiku d'Etat. And funnily enough, the first song on that album is called Haiku d'Etat. So it pulls off the trio of having a self-titled album where the first song is the name of the band. So, like, yeah, there's the song Haiku d'Etat on the album Haiku d'Etat, and it's performed by friggin' Haiku d'Etat. So, yeah, which is a really cool name for a hip-hop group, man. I don't know. Yeah, side note, side tangent. Whatever happened to the hip-hop posse cut of frickin' that dominated the early 2000s, you know? You had, like, Cannibal Ox, Jurassic 5, you know? Like, a lot of this is backpack rap, but, you know, I don't know. As someone who is still somewhat a fan of backpack rap, you know? Not the corny stuff, not Hobson at all. Not that, but, like, you know, early 2000s stuff, you know? I haven't listened to Deltron 3030, but, you know, I feel like I would like that, you know? Mad Villain. Like, I don't know if Mad Villain is like backpack rap. I don't know. Like, Mad Villainy is probably freaking one of the best hip hop albums of all time. So, you know, in my freaking opinion, and in like Rolling Stone's opinion, but whatever. Yeah. Oh man. I guess I could talk about music for a little bit. Yeah. Oh man. I did mention on a previous episode how much I like the song Taste, right? Like I listened, I was in a car and then on the radio, Taste by Sabrina Carpenter was playing, and it was the first time I heard that song, and I'm like, oh no, this is the music that Sabrina Carpenter makes? It's like, oh yeah, no, that's good. And I think I listened to Espresso, right? Yeah. And like she has a song called Juno, which is about, you know, things. I don't know, man. I don't know. The larger conversation of like, yeah, I don't know. Is it fair to ask like why Sabrina Carpenter is so horny in her songs? Like, yeah, like that's the whole thing of like, yeah, she has every right to be, but it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. It's the whole thing. Yeah, I do not want to get into like a whole frickin' like is frickin' X generation, well, is Z generation frickin' negative on like please, man, please miss me with that. I'm tired, man. I have specifically avoided talking about that in the history of whenever that became a thing, man. I don't know. Is it? I'm just waiting it out until frickin' Gen Alpha becomes the generation where like, is Gen Alpha actually too sex positive? Where it just like freaking switches around, right? Just like, oh man, I don't know, man, what the hell, man. It's the whole thing where like, yeah, it's a thing, like I've mostly been off of Twitter except for NBA freaking stuff, right? And yeah, I don't know, it's just a bunch of those types of conversations or people making reference to those types of conversations. I don't know, man. Oh man, I wanted this episode to be shorter, so yeah, I guess. Yeah, should I just talk about, yeah, it's 50 minutes. Shorter as in, you know, not 2 hours. Yeah, should I talk briefly about the anime I've been watching? I'll talk about one show. This is the anime segment of the episode. So, this anime season, I've mentioned I've watched Lazarus, right? I think like a lot of people like have a few problems with it, you know, like story wise, but I don't know. I think I'm just enjoying it from just the style of it, the aesthetic of it, you know, the OP and the ED, the music, and just like the general vibe of it more so than the actual story, you know. Yeah, I mean, I could explain the story more in depth, but yeah, I don't know. The surprising thing about it is that it's only one core, which means it's only 13 episodes. So, yeah, I'm surprised at that. I really feel like it probably should have been a 24 episode show at least. So, yeah, I guess it's gonna end when this current anime season ends, which is at the end of June. So, like in a few days. Yeah, there's another show called Mono Weekend Animation. It's Mono Weekend Animation. So it's this show about like two high school girls who are in this photography club, but it's not necessarily about photography, really. Like, yeah, so these two girls are in a photography club. They get like a camera, they take photos of places around Japan, but like they meet this manga artist who's like older, right? And they go on like tourism adventures, basically. There was half of one episode where it was about like the older woman like had her ham freaking taken by like her mom, her like grandmother or something, because she was making fried rice with it. And like, so in response, she like brought the two girls along. Or yeah, they become 3 girls. Yeah, so like it's like 4 girls on a trip around this place in Japan. I think it's Yamanashi, right? The place is called. It's like they go around a tour where they go shopping for ham. They go shopping for different types of ham, and that's just what half of the episode's about, man. I don't know. Yeah, it's made by the same creator who created Yuru Camp. Yeah, if anyone remembers or knows about that show, which is like this like comfy slice of life show that's like, you know, the epitome of like, it's cozy and relaxing. It's about It's a cute girls doing cute things show about camping. So yeah, obviously a lot of people are gonna like it. It's somewhat of like a spiritual successor. It takes place in the same universe as Yuru Camp too. So yeah, that's another show. But the real show I want to talk about is this show called get ready now. Can a boy girl friendship survive? Parentheses. It can't. Oh man, dude. Oh my god, dude. I don't know. Oh man, I feel like I don't have that many thoughts on it. I have thoughts on one thing in particular that a lot of people who are watching the show in the Reddit threads have thoughts on. Oh man, I guess I have to explain it. Yeah, I have to explain it, man, because I have to explain it. Okay. Why? Okay. There are monsters nearby. I'm leaving that dog out. Oh no. Hopefully they'll be fine. She'll be fine. Yeah, so this show, Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive? Parentheses, it can't. Is about this main character, okay? So there's this main character who's just like, who seems like your average, like somewhat dense, like rom-com male main character, right? So in middle school, he has this like hobby of like being really interested in flowers, right? Like his passion is flowers, right? And making little accessories that are based on flowers, right? So he like looks at like a dandelion and is like, oh, I could make like a necklace with that features a dandelion, motif in it, right? So like which is really cool. It's a really cool freaking hobby and passion to have, right? So he is interested in making these flower themed accessories, right? And then he meets this freaking blue-haired girl in middle school who basically becomes his business partner, right? Where like he makes her like this little like neck accessory, like choker necklace accessory from a flower, right? And then from then on, they become best friends. And then fast forward to when they're in high school, they're still business partners, they're still best friends, but then another girl comes into the picture. And then everything gets screwed up from that point forward, and freaking, my god, dude. It's not like freaking like the male MC falls in love with the new girl who shows up. That's not the best friend. It's just that the new girl who shows up is from the past, so she's a childhood friend, while the best friend is distinct from the childhood friend. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, it's an anime, okay? Do you know why I'm watching it? Because it's an anime. That's why. That's the reasoning you have to give with, like, certain things, man. Why is it like this? Because, frickin', it's an anime, okay? Oh, man, dude. Look, man. Some people are reading Great Big Beautiful Life. I'm watching Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive, man. We all choose things, okay? Some people are reading Intermezzo. I'm reading or the Origairu light novels, and I'm watching Also, I'm also reading Shark Teeth, which is a really good middle grade book so far. I read Leche by R. Zamora Lindmark, really good book about Filipino American diaspora. I should probably talk about it in the future. Yeah, I'll probably talk about it maybe next episode, but yeah. Oh man, can a boy-girl friendship survive? Okay. The main headline of it, the best friend character in that show, the girl with the blue hair who's featured on the cover page of the show, is horrible. She's horrible. She's a horrible person who does freaking really stupid things and manipulative things to the main character. But that does not mean it's a bad show. It's an extremely entertaining show with a horrible freaking character. And like that's basically my selling point, man. That's me selling the show. Do you want to watch do you want to watch a character who, like, up to this point in the series, 10 episodes in or so, I mean, it only takes like 3 or 4 episodes, but through 3 and 4 episodes, I feel like you would understand my point here, right? You would understand. Like, just watch the first 4 episodes of it, and like, just pay attention to everything the blue-haired girl says and does in regards to this male main character, right? And his frickin' and how she talks about his passion and how she treats him as a best friend, right? And you would get what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a fun show. I think like there's a lot of people in the comment threads on Reddit who are saying they're frustrated with it because of how the blue-haired girl acts, right? Her name is Hamari, by the way. Yeah, so there's a lot of like comments who are like talking about how much like how frustrating she is to watch, right? And like how their enjoyment of the show is like not there because of it, right? And like they're talking about like how like the drama, it's just so dramatic, right? For no reason. But I don't know, for me, I think it's a fun series, man. I don't think it's the best series, but I don't know, it's entertaining, man. It's entertaining. Okay, it's about as entertaining as reading King of Wrath would be, okay? For some people, okay? I don't know why I have to shout that book out, Look, look, man, I haven't shouted Anna Huang out in a while, okay? I usually don't talk about those kind of books, but I don't know. It's just, I'm making comparisons, man. Like, I'm making relatability comparisons if anyone ever watches this, right? Like what certain people get out of reading the King of Greed, King of Wrath, King of Slot series by Anna Huang, I get out of watching Can a Boy-Girl Friendship Survive? Parentheses, it can't. So, yeah. That's basically it, man. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I think the question, yeah, it's a fun series. But can a boy-girl friendship survive in real life? Yes. Yeah, sure. But yeah. Okay, basically, that's basically it, man. Oh man, dude, that was so good, man. Oh god. Yeah, I guess I'll just take a little bit of an actual break and then get to my list segment for the episode. Okay, so I've returned. This is another slice of my top 50 favorite books of all time as of now, when I'm 24 years old, about to turn 25 in October. So basically, I don't need to do a whole preface, right? Like, lists are extremely arbitrary, blah blah blah, frickin' like what is the value of putting something at number 23 when something is number 34? It's a list, okay? I don't know. I think I was inspired by the Basketball 100 a little bit, of just like, should we list players, should we put things in lists? But I think it's just a way to talk about your favorite things, It's just a way to talk about it, It's somewhat organized, but mostly it's a lot of it is arbitrary. So these are just books I enjoy a lot, no matter what, like every book on this list is a book I really like, right? That's the bar. It's like, do I really like a book? I'm gonna put it on like this list, yeah. And could I expand it to 100 someday if I, in 10 years? Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe I'll just be like, I'm not into reading, man. I've gotten back into video games. But yeah, anyways, with all that prefaced, okay, here is number 31 through 40. So yeah, that's the slice of the list I'm getting to today. So yeah. All right. Number 31 on my completely arbitrary list. The To All the Boys I Have Loved Before series by Jenny Han. And this is interesting because I think this is the first audiobook I am placing on the list. This is the first book on the list where I haven't like physically read like the book or / books in question. And obviously, like, I think audiobooks are reading, right? But it's just like me personally, like I categorize like listening to an audiobook versus reading a physical book as like two different things, like, yeah, like a lot of people don't, but like for me, I have that like personal distinction, but I still count it as reading. I still put a book in my Goodreads if I've listened to the audiobook all the way. So yeah. Should I talk about the series? Yeah, is the series better in book form or in movie form? Look, I love Lana Condor, Noah Centineo is fine, but like, I don't know. I think like I think there is something about like when I first listened to the audiobooks and like listening to them all the way through, right? That is special to me, I remember the first time I talked about it. I think it was early 2022 or something like that, or like late 2021 when I first started listening to the audiobooks, right? And like I remember like just fondly like, yeah, Ali An is the narrator for all of them, right? and like just the way that Lara Jean's voice, is resonated in my ears, and the way that like the narrator does like Kitty's voice and Margot's voice. I don't know, it's just I really enjoyed like the experience of listening to them on audio, right? I really enjoyed just listening to Lara Jean's love story unfold with Peter and then John Ambrose. And she should have, in my opinion, John Ambrose was probably the right guy for him, but whatever. Pete Kavinsky, he's fine, he's cool, I guess. It's like when in a harem, when your choice when your freaking choice loses out, it's like, okay, all right, I can see it. Oh man, it's weird because it's different with The Summer I Turned Pretty, man. But I don't know, The Summer I Turned Pretty, like the series versus the book, like granted I've only watched like one season of the show and like read one book, but like from just like comparing the first book to the first season of the TV show, it is different, man. Let me just say it's different. But yeah, what do I enjoy about the To All the Boys series? Because I think I'm just like play pudding, using this spot for like all three of the books, Yeah, I think my favorite would be the second one because that includes John Ambrose, right? And like that's like, it's the one with the old folks home, right? And like the party that Lara Jean throws, right? For the retirement home, right? And like the party they have in there, and like the night, that night, right? And then like spoiler alert, him and John Ambrose, her and John Ambrose share a romantic moment, but like at the end of it, John Ambrose, he's like, yeah, I'm not the one for you, am I? Right? Like you love Pete Kavinsky, and like the second book has like the tension with her and Pete, right? It has like this like game like where they like, it's somewhat like if anyone has heard of like Senior Assassins, where like so you have to like get someone with like a water gun or something. I think like they do a similar game to that. I was never chosen for that. I just heard people talking about it in my high school class, but whatever. Man, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it portrayed in a young adult book, so yeah. I guess like this one is an exception, but yeah. Yeah, I think I like the second book of the trilogy, the most. Makes sense, because I have the second Mercedes Sarez book in my top 10 all time. So, yeah, I just really enjoyed the series. Yeah, just like the sisterhood shown between Lara Jean, Margot, and Kitty, right? Like Kitty's so chaotic, and I feel like the films don't do as good of a job showcasing that, right? Like, I just really enjoy, like, Kitty's energy throughout the series, and how Lara Jean is both a big sister to Kitty, but, like, Margot tries to be a big sister to Lara Jean and Kitty, which made me, as a listener, be like, why are you freaking doing that, man? It's like, you're not in the country, Margot, you're in Scotland. You're in freaking Scotland, Margot. Yeah, I talked about it when I first talked about it, talked about the audiobook, of, like, Margot is like, make sure that Kitty is eating green food. It's like, Margot, you are all across the frickin' pond in Scotland, man. It's like, stop frickin' trying to be the damn parent, man. I understand that, like, the sisters losing their mother, and, like, by extension, like, a slice of their Korean heritage, is such an important, like, emotional part of the story. But it's like, come on, Margot. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I feel like it's the thing that, like, Kitty is such a great written character who was basically, like, a side character in the whole book series. But, like, yeah. Also, yeah, I also talked about originally Lara Jean's best friend, Chris, whose energy shines in the books. In the film, she's good too, right? Yeah, she's just like randomly in a scene in like one of the films of like, oh, I'm just like sleepy because I attended a rave last night. It's like, and then in like the third film, like when they're in New York City, she's like, let's go to CBGB's or something. She has a line related to that. And I'm like, okay, Chris, how are you that cool? How are you that in the know about things? Like, she always wears like a cool hat, Yeah, like Chris in the book series is also really good, man. Yeah, Chris and Kitty are like extremely well written freaking side characters. I feel like they're one of the best like side characters I've seen like portrayed, or I've seen in like literature, you know, young adult literature at least, but probably literature in general. If you were to really narrow me in on it, if you were to really corner me on it, I would say that. So yeah, it's just a really fun series, you know. It's just a great love story, you know. All the moments are great. Yeah, it's really good. I really liked the final like book with like Lara Jean's decision between colleges, right? And like how in the film series it's like she wants to go to NYU. In the book series she wants to go to UVA, but gets rejected from there, so she has to go to but in the end she decides to go to UNC. I don't know, it's just a really nice series, man. Just really great series, man. Yeah, I guess that's me just talking about 3 books in one for one spot. So yeah, that was number 30. All right, that was number 31. Okay. Number 32 on my list, Me, Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. Yeah, this is just a funny book, man. It's funny. And yeah, that's basically just it. I remember in a tweet, I'm like, why was this compared to The Fault in Our Stars? Like on the freaking paperback edition I have, it like the one of the reviews that gets quoted or blurbed on it says like it will draw comparisons to The Fault in Our Stars, but it manages to be its own thing. It's like no. This is better. This is like, I'm putting it out there right now. In my opinion, okay, obviously, I don't need to say in my opinion, but I guess just for now, just for this once, in my opinion, this book, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, is a lot better than The Fault in Our Stars from a story perspective, from just being a fun book to read perspective, you know? And I also really, for if I'm being completely honest, from like an emotional perspective, you know, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, like I remembered more for just how funny it is rather than just like the emotions of it. But I don't know. I think there are moments in there, you know, because yeah. Okay. If I were to explain the plot of it, it's about this guy who makes amateurish, very, very amateurish films with his best friend who's black, called Earl. And like Earl is 5 feet tall, right? And it's like, and like at the end of the book, he's working at a Wendy's. And then he meets this girl, yeah, who's dying of cancer, right? And then they decide, and it's somewhat about like making like a film, you know, yeah, it's about making like a film and like, yeah, like comedy, you know, it's just really funny, man. There's this, there's a character called like the Suleiman, the Syrian, like, I don't know, like, it's just, I don't know, I kind of don't want to just, there's a lot of just humorous things, man. The book was quoted in a John Oliver episode. There's an extremely funny freaking exchange between the main character and Earl, right, where they're talking about freaking they're just talking about oral sex in an extremely freaking hilarious way, man. Like, I don't know, hasn't your dad ever told you, like, son, one day you're gonna have to eat freaking, and then it's like, yeah, that's it's just, I don't know, it's just funny, man. I don't know. And it is one of the funniest YA books I've ever read, man. It also does the things I really enjoy in any sort of literature where it's extremely voicey, you know. I just like voice in stories. Hopefully, like, if anyone has been following like my selections on this list, right, it's just, I like stories that are just very, yeah, like character driven, very voicey, you know. I like a main character who has voice, you know, who has just a personality, who can rizz you up when you're reading it. Yeah, that's basically it. I don't know. Is there any more to say about it? Yeah, it's just a really funny book. So yeah, that was number 32. Okay. All right. Number 33. The first nonfiction book to be on this list. And yes, I do read nonfiction, but only this type of nonfiction. So, yeah, I have Meet Me in the Bathroom by Lizzie Goodman on this list. So, yeah, I talked about this way back when. Yeah, it's been over 5 years since I uploaded the first episode of this series. I missed the anniversary by a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do it for like some random episode. Yeah, some random episode. I'm gonna do a clip show, and it's not episode 100. It's not an anniversary, but it's a clip show. And I'll be like, yes. It'll be a 2-parter clip show, man. I don't know. I've done enough episodes. I can do it, right? Man. So yeah, Meet Me in the Bathroom. It's a nonfiction book. It is, but it's like narrative nonfiction, which is probably the only type of nonfiction I'll read. Yeah, I kind of don't like the freaking like ones where it's like a title, like one word title, the story of how blank became blank. It's like like not for like I'm into it when I'm into nonfiction in terms of arts and culture. Like if a nonfiction book about like the history of a music genre, like a cultural history of it, like an oral history. Yeah, which is what this book is basically. So yeah, this book is an oral history on the early 2000s indie rock scene in New York City. So The Strokes, Interpol, Yeahs, and then later on LCD Sound System, Vampire Weekend, Grizzly Bear, when TV on the radio, the Brooklyn scene basically. Yeah, so basically it's an oral history of how those first three bands got started, their origin story, just the whole larger scene of New York City, the whole larger picture of indie rock and indie music in general in the early 2000s through the 21st century up until like the 2010s, right? It's basically just this slice of just one of my favorite decades. Yeah, pretty much my favorite decade of music, the 2000s, right? And like I loved 2000s indie music. My favorite band of all time is a 2000s indie rock band primarily. They started in the 2000s and they released their album in 2005, which is like right in the middle of it. So yeah, I honestly, obviously I'm predisposed to really loving this book, man. So yeah, it's basically it. It's an oral history. There's a lot of voices in there. James Murphy himself, the frontman of LCD Sound System, is there. Julian Casablancas, like all of the members of like the Strokes and Interpol and Yeahs are on there, are featured there. Kelly Okereke, like the frontman of Block Party, is featured there like twice, which is interesting. Yeah, he just had a line of like, I saw the Strokes back in like 2000, yeah, in London or something. It's just a really good book. It's really fun. I binged it basically. I just like read through it in like 2 weeks. It's kind of a lengthy book. Yeah, it starts in like the early beginning of the decade. And like they talk about the progenitors of the scene, like Jonathan Fire Eater, right? It was this band in like the late 90s, right? And then yeah, it goes into the creation of DFA, which is like the label that James Murphy and this guy Tim Goldsworthy made, right? Yeah, and like just the entire story of what indie rock music was in the early 2000s, into the mid to late 2000s, how selling out became a normalized thing within indie music, how like Vampire Weekend were like somewhat of a response to what was going on with the Strokes, right? And like how like the way they dressed, right? They got criticized for that, but like they didn't want to be another rock band wearing t-shirts and jeans, so they just wanted to wear something different, but people are calling them preppy, right? It's like, yeah, they are preppy. They went to frickin' Columbia, but it's like, yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah. It's the whole thing of like, oh, they're like appropriating freaking African like sounds, Yeah, but yeah, that's the whole thing of like Vampire Weekend was actually like criticizing like preppy culture and like rich white kid like who goes to like Columbia culture, through their music, What's the song? The line in like Campus was like, I spilled on your on your keffiyeh, like I spilled something on your keffiyeh. Like it's like, yeah, that's the thing. That's also probably the best song on the Vampire Weekend self-titled album anyway. I don't know, I guess this is how I talk about music in one of these episodes if I'm not listening to anything new. I am listening to a bit of new music. Yeah, I'm listening to The Promise Ring, which is this emo band from the late 90s. Nothing Feels Good is their album that came out in like 1997. Yeah, that's one of the albums I'm listening to. I'm listening to Rilo Kiley's first album, The Execution of All Things. And there's also like a section in Meet Me in the Bathroom that talks about Saddle Creek, which is this like label where like Bright Eyes the Faint, who has a song called I Disappear, which was on the Tony Hawk soundtrack and was one of the albums that I got as a result of that in 2020. You know, yeah, basically. Yeah, the Saddle Creek is from Omaha, Nebraska. Yeah. So like Bright Eyes, Rilo Kiley, The Faint were all like, you know, bands under the Saddle Creek label. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's basically all I have to say about Meet Me in the Bathroom, right? Yeah, it's really good for a nonfiction book. It's like, that's the type of nonfiction I'd be interested in reading. Like nothing, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in reading like what this frickin' congressman of a certain party is telling you about our country. It's like, okay, all right, what's the point, man? Like, I don't know. Okay. Number 34, another audiobook that I listened to back in 2020. So pretty much 5 years ago. She's the Worst by Lauren Spieler. And yeah, Lauren Spieler is a literary agent, yeah, but she also is an author. So yeah, you know, like certain people who are in publishing who are both agents and authors, right? So yeah, this book is really good. I really enjoy it. This is the type of story that I really enjoy. Something that's just personal, voice driven, and yeah, basically. So basically, it's about these two sisters who have this kind of contentious relationship. Yeah. It's about these two sisters, like one's older and one's younger. Like I think it takes like turns, like alternating perspectives, right? And the whole thing is that yeah, I think like the older sister is about to go off to college, right? And the younger sister is just like staying in LA. They because the book takes place in LA, right? And like their parents, while their relationship is contentious as sisters, somewhat or mostly because their parents are always fighting. They own a store together and they're always fighting, and it seems like they're on the brink of getting divorced, right? And like that's part of the reason, you know. And like I think like the story of it is that like they go on this like tour around LA, right? And like throughout this like tour of LA where they go to different places like Santa Monica and like stuff like that, they take this one last trip before the older sister goes off to college, right? And then yeah, basically it deals with like going over like why their relationship as sisters is so fraught, and like their parents, right? And like why they're like fighting so much, you know. It's just a nice personal story, you know. These are the types of stories I enjoy, man. I don't know, I didn't think much when I got it first on audiobook, but yeah, after I listened to it, I really enjoyed it. So yeah, that's basically it, you know. Any like moments specifically that really that I remember? Yeah, I remember. Well, I think like there's like one. Yeah, there's like during like the tour of like the places, you know, they have like this kind of fight, right? Of like you're taking me to places that only you remember, you know. That's what the older sister is telling the younger sister, you know. It's like you know, it's like you know, it's like what do you, and then yeah, it's part of like why freaking, you know, like their relationship of like, and like why they don't get along, you know. Like there's deeper reasons to it, you know. But yeah, it's just a really interesting interpersonal story, you know. That's the type of book that I enjoy, that I would put on a list like this. Okay. Oh man, number 35, The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. So yeah, this was a book I read on ebook, yeah, back in like the end of 2017, I think. Yeah, I think it was the end of 2017. This book, Nicola Yoon's debut book was this book called Everything Everything, which is about like this sick girl. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It was kind of in a wave of that kind of literature, but this one, yeah, I feel like this book is probably her best, young adult book. She has another one called Instructions for Dancing, and she has another, like, she recently came out with an adult book, yeah, about like a black family who moves to a neighborhood, like thinking it's like a utopia for black families, but it's actually not, something like that. From the description I read of it when I looked at it in Target. But yeah, The Sun Is Also a Star is a romance between two people who seem like they're opposites, right? It takes place in New York City. One is a Korean American who is into poetry, and then another one is a Jamaican American immigrant, right, whose family is getting deported, right? And she's into Nirvana. Yeah, she's into Nirvana, and she's into math and numbers and space and stuff, right? So like, yeah, it's about the clash of these two people with seemingly different minds, right? But like they, eventually find each other somehow, and then they fall in love over the course of a day, right? I really like the way it's told, the way it alternates between the perspectives, and also just showing how, like, New York City, or like America, is a melting pot, and like with people who can have these like different types of stories, but they can come together, because Nicola Yoon, if you didn't know, is, yeah, like Nicola Yoon is a black, I think, like, yeah, she's, I think she's, but she is married to a Korean American, yeah, because David Yoon, I think, like, yeah, David Yoon, yeah, he wrote the book Frankly in Love, right? Yeah. So yeah, it somewhat mirrors, like, Nicola Yoon and her husband's relationship, basically. So yeah. That's basically it. It's a really good book. I recently got it in the library bookstore I go to for like, what, $2. It's a really nice copy, and the paperback has like a Q&A with the author. It has a bit of extra stuff in it, so that's cool. Man. Okay. Ooh, a really good one coming up. Yeah, a really good one here. Number 36, Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. What do I have to say about this book? See? Yeah, as I've said, I am not the biggest fan of The Fault in Our Stars, I'm really not into that book, okay? I read it officially back in like 2023, I think, after being aware of it for so long, right? And it's like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna read this, like, the book has eluded me. So many people of my classmates in middle school read it, it blew up around that time, 2012, 2013, that era, and I never read it. I watched a film before reading the book, and then I finally read the book, and then I was whelmed, to say the least. There were parts of it that were like, okay, all right, it's fine, but yeah, I don't know. Again, like, I feel like this is something that I could, like, expand my thoughts on in another format, if you catch my drift. But yeah, I'm not talking about that book, but yeah. Anyways, Turtles All the Way Down. Why do I enjoy the book? I think I talked about it in a not too distant episode. Yeah, because the film adaptation came out. I don't know if you can still watch it. You can watch it if you're creative, but yeah, I don't know if you can still watch it on HBO Max, trademark. But yeah, it's about this teenage girl called Aza. She has OCD, and that's basically the story, man. The story, to me, is like showcasing her inner mind and her inner thoughts, and it just does an extremely I'm sorry for using that word, I noticed it again. It does an extraordinarily good job of showcasing her inner thoughts and like the prose in those moments, right? The prose of like the moments when Aza gets to like obsessive with her thoughts, right? Of like, just a tiny detail of she keeps like a band-aid over her finger, right? She keeps a band-aid over her finger or her thumb, like, because she's so afraid that if she like lets it go, it's gonna like it's gonna become infected, right? just that, and like the way she's afraid of germs, right? The way that, you know, spoiler alert, when frickin' her and like the main love interest guy character, who's kind of boring, right? Who's like the weakest part of the story overall, right? Like when her and that guy like kiss, right? Like just her inner thoughts, right? That's something the film didn't really like showcase, you know, that I love about the book. I love that about the book, when like she's kissing this guy, right? And like her thoughts just like go in a spiral, right? And the words themselves become so packed so close together, right? I just love that you can do that in literature, you know? If you just pack the words close together, like it feels like you're in her head. Like that's the thing. That's what like really good prose can do, right? Like I don't think like a film can take you into a character's head in the same way that a really good piece of literature can, you know? I really think that's the advantage that prose has over film and like visual mediums, like, you know, of like, this is what's exactly going on in Oz's head, and it's scary, right? And like that's the thing, like the moments when she's in the hospital, right? Like her fight with Daisy, right? Her fight with Daisy in the car, which was done really well which was done really well in the film adaptation, you know? Oh, wait, okay. I have to battle, frick. I don't know why I frickin' left the house. Why did I leave? Yeah, that's something like, I feel like that literature in general and prose has over like film and visual mediums, you know, is that frickin' ability to take you inside a character's head. So yeah, that's the reason why I love the book. I really like the section. The ending, I think, was better done in the book than in the film, right? Like, it's like, I like it when it was, like, herself, like, narrating, right? Ozza narrating her future, how she imagined her future, like, herself. Because it kind of, like, leaves her perspective. It kind of, like, goes into, like, it kind of shifts from first person to third person a little bit, you know? So, like, that's how I kind of read into it. Man. So, yeah, that's basically why I really enjoyed Turtles All the Way Down. And they named it my 36th best book I've read up to this point of all time, out of 50. Oh my god, dude, please. Okay, it's here. Okay, I'm taking a break from explaining the list. Okay, alright, okay. I have to stay inside. I don't know why I left the house. Like, why did I leave? I just always feel like I have to do something with the controller when I don't. No! That's the thing, like, I never leave a creeper, like fizzing and that's it. Like, they always have to blow up. Like, it's like, aren't I, like, a good enough distance away? Like, I feel like, come on, man. Like, I should be a good enough distance away. I don't know. I think it should be like, no. Yeah, see? Okay, yeah, if that creeper blew up after me frickin' being near it for 1 second, like, come on. Okay, I have to not frickin' go outside, okay? Okay, there's the monsters nearby. Okay. So anyway. Okay, let me just go through these. Okay, number 37, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Yeah, I didn't talk about this fully in depth, but yeah, I think, yeah, it's a classic work of literature, you know. It was released in 1970, I think. Yeah. I don't think this is regarded as Toni Morrison's best book, but it was just the first Toni Morrison book I read. I read it just this year. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just like the messages it has about, you know, beauty, right? And like, just like the desire to want to have blue eyes, right? Because like that's like a theme of it, right? Of like, there's this, it's, you know, it's really sad, you know. It's really, it's not for the faint of heart what happens in the story, but one of the themes in the book that I'll focus on for the sake of talking about it is like this main character, yeah, Pekla, I think, yeah, like one of the characters, Pekla, I think it's her, who like, she goes to this like gentleman who's like known to do like these weird mystical things, like, and like she goes to him, yeah, wanting blue eyes, basically. She's like, can you turn my eyes blue? Because to her in her mind, like the problem with like this is why my life isn't good, why freaking my life as a young black girl is not as good as it is as a white girl is because like these white girls have blue eyes, right, and I don't, and like it's like she has this desire to want to have blue eyes, which is somewhat like the theme of the book of like why would you have the desire to to do that, like what is it about culture and race, that would lead a child to think that, and like I think I talked about this book before, but yeah, the book Genesis Begins Again, on the cover it says it's like, oh, it's like it's reminiscent of The Bluest Eye, right? And like the I think like the similarity there is that the main character in that book is black too, right? It's about a black girl who like gets made fun of by her own family because she's too dark, right? Like she's too like dark, right? That like they make fun of her basically because like some people in her life, her like father in particular, like he makes comparisons that her like skin is like charcoal basically. So like she wants to lighten her skin, right? And she thinks that like the reason why she, the reason why her self-esteem is so low is because freaking her skin tone is like that, and it's about trying to deal with that. It's similar in The Bluest Eye where, the girl thinks that, having blue eyes would fix the problems or problems in her life of being a young black girl. So yeah, that's basically how I read it in my very amateurish way. I obviously enjoyed it. The prose in a certain section just gets very sparse. It just gets very like terse. It's just very, this is what happens and that's it. So yeah. Number 38, the second nonfiction book I have. It's a memoir. High School by Tegan and Sarah Quinn. And I guess I can loop this in with another book I read recently. I recently read a graphic novel, also by them, and this illustrator artist, Tilly Walden, called Junior High, which is basically them telling, Tegan and Sarah telling the story of their junior high years, like one of their years, with a fictionalized version of themselves, right? So and yeah, there's not much else to say about it. It's just a nice graphic novel. I like the imagery of it. I like the art of it. Yeah, Tilly Walden is an artist who's also a twin. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so yeah, why did I enjoy High School so much? Yeah, just basically just how, humorous Tegan and Sarah are in terms of describing their high school life. There's a really, I don't know, one of the funniest freaking sections in that book for me. I think I talked about it when I talked about the book the first time in one of these episodes, is that like their it's in a chapter where Tegan and Sarah are visiting like one of their uncles or something, like in America. So they're like in like Atlanta or something, right? And then like in the car, like they're in the car, and then their dad and like their uncle are saying like, we should go to Hooters or something, and then like their aunt or their mom, who's like a badass and who's like really freaking cool. Their mom is like, why do you want to freaking go to Hooters, man? You freaking sexist ass freaking. It's like, oh man, it's so good, man. Oh god. So yeah, it's just Tegan and Sarah. You know them. They're the Canadian indie-ish, like pop now, like music duo, who are twins, right? Who are both queer women, who are both lesbians, right? Sarah recently, recently as of a few years ago, became a mother. So yeah, that's cool for her. Yeah, so it's basically their years growing up in Calgary, right? I'm sad that Edmonton didn't get to win the Stanley Cup. It sucks that frickin' Canada has not won the Stanley Cup, and it has to be in frickin' Florida of all places. It's so sad. But yeah, that's basically, it's just a really fun memoir. It's really personality driven. They're really good at describing these stories in a very funny way, the stuff that Sarah and Tegan go through in terms of discovering their sexuality in it is really, really good. You know, like the end of the freaking book with Sarah. With like Sarah's perspective of like her and her girlfriend at the time, you know, and like the way like her mom reacted, you know, to her being gay right at first. Because like Tegan, like that's not, Tegan's coming out wasn't in the book. I guess it came later, but yeah, like Sarah's coming out to her mom was in the book, and that was like basically one of the last chapters. So I really enjoyed that. It's just a good memoir. That's the type of memoir I would enjoy reading, and that's the type, that's basically the type of ones I enjoy reading. Okay. Number 39, Look Both Ways. Another book called Look Both Ways. This one is by Allison Cherry. I think I talked about this last year. Yeah. I don't know. I must have enjoyed it a lot to put it number 39. But yeah. Considering like, I mean, I don't know. I think I can expand this to top 75, but yeah, I would just put books that I read once and just be like, I generally like it on the list. So yeah. Why do I really like Look Both Ways? This book called Look Both Ways, coincidentally. Oh, man. Yeah, I talked about it in the episode. Yeah, it's about this girl who goes to this summer theater camp thing, right? Because she comes from a family of theater people, right? And like they expect her to become like a top like Broadway type of actress, right? They want her to be an actress when she herself doesn't see herself as that, right? By the end of it, you learn that like she's more suited towards like making music, right? Preferably for musicals, right? Like writing and making music for musicals. So yeah, there's that, and like she meets this girl who becomes a roommate who has a tattoo on her back, right? And I talk about in the episode where I talk about it, this extremely, again, I use that word, this really intimate scene between the two of them where her roommate lets her see her tattoo, and it's like a romantic moment too. It's really nice. Yeah, I don't know. That's the moment I remember from that book. Yeah, I don't know why it's called Look Both Ways too. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with theater, but yeah, it's just really, again, the voice in it is really good. I enjoyed that aspect of like the girl and her roommates somewhat romance, somewhat not, right? I really like the ending of the book. Yeah, the ending of the books, I don't know. I just love the last lines of it, of the symbolism of it. I guess I shouldn't spoil it. I guess you're just gonna have to read it for yourself. But yeah, that's basically why I like the book. Okay, and the final book I'm talking about, again it turned out like this, where I have like 2 nonfiction books, some YA, right? Yeah, I have 2 nonfiction books, the rest is YA, but I have one book on here that is my genre as of late, my category of books as of late. Asian American diaspora books by Asian American authors that came out either in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. And this one, at number 40, I have American Son by Brian Ascalon-Rowley on here. So, yeah, this is a Filipino-American book that takes place in Santa Monica, I think, like like LA, Santa Monica, West Hollywood, Venice Beach, that sort of area. It's about 2 brothers. The older brother has basically become a delinquent. He's become a gang member who like is blending in with like the Mexicans who live in East LA, right? But they're like both Filipino. They come from a Filipino family. And like they live alone with their mother, right? They have a white father, but he left, right? So yeah, basically it's about these 2 brothers and somewhat their relationship and somewhat their family's relationship to America as a whole, right? And like their mother's relationship to America as a home, and like how it's not necessarily, and like the struggle of trying to, first generation immigrants, in terms of their mother and dealing with America and like dealing with like having to speak in English or like having to assert yourself as a Filipino living in America, right? So yeah, it has to do with like dogs too. Dogs are a big theme of it. Yeah, the ending of it I really enjoy. Again, like the ending, the title of American Son really becomes apparent when you like see the ending of the book, right? Of just like how they do become like American in a way by the end of the book, you know, is the country a bad influence on them or not? You know, is like a question that gets asked throughout the book. You know, is them living in America like a bad thing for them as like Filipinos? You know, should they be sent back to the Philippines? You know, yeah, because the book starts with like a letter that like a pastor writes to them, right? Of just like, I am worried about your son, your older son in particular, like his behavior has not been good recently. Yeah, something like that. And like it's the younger brother somewhat getting influenced by the older brother, right? In his illicit activity is a thing that happens in the book, right? Yeah. And the one scene I want to talk about, the one scene that I remember that I didn't talk about is that there's this scene, there's this really nice scene that illustrates like the disconnect, like the weight of diaspora on Filipino Americans, or no, on Filipinos who are from the Philippines who immigrate to America, where like him and his brother are like in a shopping mall, right? And they're in this like makeup kind of store, right? And their mom is in line, right? Their mom is in line, right, for something, and like is waiting patiently in line, and like ahead of her, like there's this like woman arguing with like the cashier, and like their mom is like waiting patiently, and like they're, you know, like not knowing the language fully well, right? Like their mom is just waiting, you know, that's all she's doing, right? And like it's just like showcasing like her inability to assert herself, as like this is like a challenge, you know, that friggin' Filipinos, you know, deal with, you know, of just like how do you live in this country, you know, how do you assert yourself in this country where like it's not expected of you to freaking confront or to ask for what you want, you know, in a very confident way, right? Like, and then it ends with like the older brother trying to like stand up for their mom, right? Because like their mom is just waiting and like she just can't say, or she isn't really saying or doing anything, you know. She's just, all she can do is just wait there, right? and like she's not being attended to, she's not, you know, like she just has a question, right? And like by the end of it, when they finally get to her, she's just like, oh no, that's okay, I'm fine, you know, when like she probably had like a question to be addressed, or she probably needed help in some regard, you know. That's basically like a scene that illustrates, you know, the challenge that I found, you know. I don't know, in my amateur reading, man. This is why I'm not necessarily majoring in English literature, you know, because my university doesn't necessarily offer Asian American literature. I'd be really good at that, but only if it was certain types. If it was just like the Joy Luck Club and freaking, yeah, if it was that, To All the Boys, if it was, you know, the Filipino books I've read, Dog Eaters or something, I don't know, I would be really good at that. I would really like an Asian American literature class if I could like make my own reading list and just be like, I'm reading this stuff, guys. You're reading Leche by R. Zamora Lindmark? It's like, yeah. You're reading Wild Meat and the Bully Burgers? It's like, yeah, okay. I'll write a paper on it, okay? So yeah, that's basically my list. 31 through 40, right? Yeah, 31 through 40. I guess next episode I'll finish up the list. There's some books here. I don't know why I'm going backwards from what I should have. I guess ideally I would go from 50 to 1, but I don't know. I kind of like it this way because I get to a lot of books that I haven't talked about, you know. I don't know why I have to say frickin', you know, I'm not aggressive in saying it, but I have not talked about those books in a while. So it's been nice talking about them. Yeah, that's basically the episode. It is under 2 hours, so yeah. Great. That's basically all I needed. Okay, the recording is under 2 hours. Hopefully it'll be cut to less than that, but yeah, I just like talking about the books, you know. Like, this is a way I can talk about books, you know, in a different way than what I'm used to, so I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, if anyone is tuning into these list segments, I'm sure. Okay, anyways, that's basically it. What's gonna happen in the NBA over the next few months or so, who knows, man? Who freaking knows? It's gonna be a fun ride. So yeah. Anyways, that's basically it for this episode. Yeah, thank you and so much. I just messed up the outro. I messed up the outro. There's no point in cutting it. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next episode.